Joining us now, she was an All-American in 2023 and is her first year at Oklahoma State, coming off a busy week where she went 6-0 with a 0 ERA, 0 with 30 strikeouts, leading Oklahoma State to a 7-0 week. She is 8-0 on the year with a 1.34. We speak of junior Ruby Meylan joining us here. I did the circle on D1 softball for the first time. You've been busy.
I've been very busy.
I guess the first question I should ask is how are you feeling? Because that you worked a lot, you had a good workload. You pitched in like this 6 of the 7 games this past week with Oklahoma State, starting back in that Monday game in Conway. Obviously, you guys went undefeated at Wichita as well in the tournament. Then you came home and played a couple of games. You pitched in every game against Drake. What happened? You weren't available. Weren't available for Drake. But in all seriousness, how are you feeling?
I feel good. I think prioritizing taking care of my body right now has been super important. So just keeping my focus on that and doing that on the days we don't play has kept me in good shape. So I'm feeling pretty good.
As a team, what did you learn this week? Because it was as you know, Coach G likes Gajewski likes to challenge you. Start the week off in Conway. You played a really good tournament in Wichita where you beat Nebraska, you beat Missouri, you beat Wichita State, and then you come home and beat Drake and beat Tulsa. What did you learn this week?
Coach G has built a schedule for us that's going to challenge us. And I think early on, we faced some things that we needed to work through. And yeah, it was kind of scary, I think, at times, but the way we worked through it and bounced back and the way we're playing now has been really cool to see the growth of this young team. And so I think just kind of going game by game here, doing everything we can to win each game has been cool to see. And I think just like learning how we're operating as a team has been good. So I think we're in a really good spot going into conference play. It's been good to see the growth, and I'm excited about what we're going to do.
What have you learned about yourself this year? You've been used as a starter and a reliever, like this week.
Yeah.
Your number could get called at any moment. I'm really fascinated the preparation in the bullpen mindset when you're going to start versus, hey, I'm going to come in and relieve. Is it different of an approach? Is it similar? What? Take me through that approach.
Well, when I'm starting a game, my goal is to always go 7 innings. So I'm prepping to face the lineup two and a half, 3 times through. And so I think just like mentally preparing because those long games can be a grind. So facing the offenses we have has been really tough, and to be able to do that for 7 innings is really hard. But I constantly remind myself, I say it out loud. If I'm on the field, you can actually see me in my one of my words is like outlast and outcompete. Like my goal is to outcompete a team for 7 innings versus when I'm coming in relief. I want to throw gas and blow it by people and shut them down, like give them no hope. And so I honestly like I one of my teammates asked me the other day, like, what do I like more? And starting is so much fun because you can kind of set the tone early and obviously try to win a game on your own, but relieving is fun too because you can just go slam the door and like people don't know what to expect. So it's both. I like both a lot.
You strike me as somebody that will go up to your coaches and say, hey, I want the ball. Am I accurate there? Because I have a feeling you're one that, hey, coach, I'm here. I'm ready to go. Because, like I said, they've used you in both roles. I feel like
Yeah.
you've influenced that a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
accurate there?
Oh yeah, if I could pitch every game, I would, but obviously we have a staff that's super talented, so I love getting to watch them pitch too and just being able to be a supportive teammate to them. But if I could pitch every game, I would, but that's not how it works.
No, you mentioned your fellow pitching staff. Tell us about this pitching staff for those that may not be aware and how you've gotten to know them.
Yeah, so coming in, obviously I didn't really know anyone. But we've gotten super tight. We call ourselves the team within the team, and so we've really tried to build this pitching staff up to ultimately have like the trust and reliance on each other. And so I'll start with Katie. She's been great. Coming in the fall, she wasn't where she is now, and it's just been really cool to see her grow. I think a lot of it was mental, and I think we've all faced that. And so, like, just helping her through that and seeing the success she's having now has been really cool. Kyra's still grinding, like, she's been great for us, being able to get some innings in here and there. Riley's working her way through, and then, gosh. Kat came in a game yesterday. That was awesome just to see that. And then Hoffman, she's a freshman. She's out redshirting this year. She tore her ACL, but she's going to be a great addition next season. But she was awesome in the fall. We're all different types of arms, so it's kind of a cool little arsenal that we have. So it's been good.
You've gotten to know them, and you've gotten to know your pitching coach, Carrie Eberly. What's it been like working with her? I know Lexi Kilfoyle, I believe, is a GA as well on the staff. What's it been like getting to know them and working with them?
Carrie is legit. Like she's young and she's obviously doesn't have a ton of experience just coming straight out of college and then just going straight into coaching, but she has been so good. Like I was skeptical a little bit coming in with I didn't know much, I didn't know anything about Carrie. And obviously she's young, but Coach G swore to me that she's gonna develop me. And I think it's been pretty apparent that she's done a really, really good job just from the summer when I got here, just working together literally every single day, just grinding through. I faced some struggles last season. I think just like using those and learning from them to make me even better this year has been great. So she's awesome. We're super tight. Having Lexi around is so cool. She's just a really good person. And so to have her around as a friend and mentor has been awesome too.
What have you learned so far about Stillwater, Oklahoma, there, being a student athlete there?
I love Stillwater. It's great. The thing I take away most is like the fan support. Obviously, Stillwater's a pretty small town, so every time there's a game, football game, basketball game, softball game, whatever, the whole town is pretty much there. And so the support is really cool. You can be at a grocery store and people will come up to you and be like, "Hey, like great game." Like it's just cool to have the support and your name is known around town and people love us. So it's really awesome.
Has that been an easy transition for you? Was it quick? Are you still kind of adjusting to that?
I would say when I'm a creature of habit, and so I love structure, I love a schedule, I'm super type A. And so transferring was like probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Obviously going from Seattle, which is a huge city, there's so much to do, tons of people, to Stillwater is a pretty drastic change. And so I struggled for a little bit, like just finding my way. But my teammates and coaches were great. They kind of took me under their wings and were like, "Hey, we got you. Like, come on, like come do this with us, come do this." And then I would say within a month or two I was set and I fell in love with Stillwater. It's been good.
What was your favorite place that you got to go check out or hang out at Stillwater there? That it's kind of like your go-to to be, either go study, go hang out with your friends. Where is it?
Oh gosh. There's a Mexican restaurant.
I've heard this before.
um
Yes,
Chico's, we go there all the time. The food's so good. It's such a good little environment. There's people there all the time. So that's our go-to.
you're not the first player there that has. I think Rachel Becker has mentioned this to me as well.
Really?
So I don't know what I'll make a note of this when I'm in Stillwater there. That's
You
why I
gotta
always
go.
ask. Yeah,
You
gotta
gotta
go
go.
there. What's it been like getting to play for Coach Gajewski? Obviously, he's a big part of the reason why you're here. Obviously, but what's it been like getting to know him as well?
I mean, he's the reason I ultimately came to OSU. I think he's just first a great guy and then second a great coach. And so being able to have the privilege to play under him has been awesome. I just love the way he runs this program and has created something here in Stillwater that's really special. And so I think, yeah, I just love him. We're super tight. Like we hang out, like go get coffee. I go in his office and chat pretty much every day. Like he's the best.
You were involved in one of the best pitching duels of the year against Nebraska. You and Jordy Ball, two Nebraska kids there. What's it like to be in a duel with a great pitcher? Do you know that in advance? Or are you like locked? I mean, you're always locked in, but do you know,
Yeah.
hey, I need my A+ game today to match pitch for a great pitcher like a Jordy Ball or other pitchers that you're seeing?
When going into that game, there was a lot of attention because A, we're both from Nebraska. B, we played together. We're both high level pitchers, really good teams. I was just trying to go into that game, treating it like any other game. I think at times I let my emotions get too high, and obviously, like that's a team I want to beat. I mean, it's I'm the hometown kid that left and played for a different school, so I think obviously I want to win every game, but that one had some more meaning behind it. So I think just going in, being like, hey, even my parents were like, oh, like, are you excited? I'm like, no, mom, this is any other game. I remember talking to my mom before the game on the phone. I was like, Mom, this is any other game. We don't treat it any differently until after. So I think Going into that game, obviously Jordy's legit. She's a top arm in the country, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to give up runs because against her, you don't really score runs. And so Meg came up and hit a home run, and once we hit that home run, I knew we were going to win the game. I was like, they are not going to score. Even in the last inning, when they put pressure on us, I was like, we are not going to drop this game. We are winning this game. So it was cool. I love being able to compete against them. Obviously, I know a lot of the girls and stuff, so it's just a cool moment for us.
I love that conversation with your mom that you're the one that's got to calm her down there. Normally it's the other way around. We're like, hey, I mean, she was just fired up, huh?
hmm She
That's pretty,
was. I mean, my dad played football in Nebraska,
sure.
and my grandpa also played football there, so there's just a lot of history there. So my parents get excited. They love all the competition, stuff like that. So it was just, yeah, I was like, Mom, this is any other game until it's over.
Until
So
it's over, and then you get the
until it's
win
over.
until
Yep.
it's over. So I guess now you've had time. Is that a game for the family for all the reasons you've described there, you've brought up? Is that one that's going to be one of your favorites to this point
Oh
in your
yeah.
career?
Yeah, that was a super special moment for me. I think just, like the history behind it and being from there, I grew up going to all the camps there, going to all the games, and it's just a program I was around for a long time. So I have a lot of respect for the program, but it was just really cool to come out on top.
I forgot that. That's right. You and Jordy were teammates at Travel Ball.
Yeah. Yep. We won PGF together.
What a PGF together, and both of you representing that. I mean, what
Yeah.
are the odds that you both are doing so great
Crazy.
and
It's
great
crazy.
representation in the sport there?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell
Mhm.
me about this. You getting into softball. How did you get involved in growing up as a kid? How did you fall in love with softball?
Well, obviously I'm tall, so I was a volleyball player, and my best friend, we're still best friends. We lived down the street from each other. She wanted to play softball because her older sister played softball. So I was like, all right. So we played softball together. And then I remember her dad was one of our coaches, and we were in this gym like in the middle of winter, and everyone was like, "Okay, everyone's gonna pitch today. Like we're just gonna try it out." And then I remember we were throwing like balls against this padded wall, and after practice, her dad went up to my dad, and he's like, "Hey, I think she might be like pretty good at like pitching." And then it stuck. Like I played volleyball and basketball and all that, all tall girl sports, but then softball really because my best friend played is why I wanted to play. And so I just fell in love with it after that. I fell in love with the hard work that it brought, just the competition, all of it. And it stuck. And then I quit my other sports in middle school and stuck with softball all the way through. So
I'm glad you did, especially because for people that may not be aware, I mean, volleyball's huge in the state of Nebraska, so it feels like
uh,
people always like, oh, you got to play volleyball, but that was awesome that you went the softball route. Did you have any favorite athletes growing up that you looked up to?
I loved Jenny Finch. Even though obviously he's a guy, I love Tom Brady. I think the
Sure.
way he has dedicated his life to his craft and the way he takes care of his body and goes about his sport, I think is really admirable. And I fell in love with just the way he lived, I guess. And so the way he eats, the way he trains, I try to mimic all that. So he's probably my favorite, but I do love Jenny Finch when I was younger.
There's been so many players I've had in the show that have brought up Jenny Finch as their favorites, which is
So
remarkable. There, have you met her?
I have, but not like we haven't had like a conversation. Junior, I think it was my junior year. I was playing in like the PGF All-American
Sure.
game, and she was coaching the other team. So I think I shook her hand, and my little brother got a signed ball from her, but I've not actually had a conversation with her, which I'd love to someday. So
I I think you should make that
I
happen.
think we could make it happen. I think we could.
Wait. So your little brother's the one that got the autograph?
Yes, I think my mom was like, "Hey, Colt, go. Jenny Finch is right there." And so he went up to her and was like, "Can you sign this ball?" And I'm like, "Hey, bro, like that's my like idol. Like what?"
Wow.
Yeah,
Jumped in on you.
he
Wow.
did.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Like he jumped in on you there and get the interview. Like you can be the one to begin the autograph.
Uh-huh.
All right, but you got to meet her now. Now that's more. You have so many motivations to meet her and get a photo at least
Exactly.
down the road. That's great. Tom Brady. Does that mean you're going to go into commentating after you're done playing
I
softball?
do. That is the
Really?
goal.
You want to get into
Yes.
this?
Yes, that's what I want to do. I'm really excited. That's something that I've been looking forward to. And kind of, I didn't know what I wanted to do after school. I was going to go the nutrition route, then business. And I was like, dude, I want to stick around softball, but I don't think coaching's for me. And I want to continue to play. And so, play and commentate, that's what I want to do. So,
Do you want to do like color commentary, like an analyst, like Amanda
yeah.
Scarborough and Tom, that role? Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now you've just moved up on my rankings even more. Now it's a sports
Yeah.
media fellow broadcaster. I'm in. Anything
So,
I can do to help you persuade you there to make that happen, I'm down for that. That's awesome. So broadcasting, what is it? Just you want to be around the game, or you just as you watch sports, you just they're like, man, I'd like to be commentating about it. I have thoughts on the game.
well, when I was at Washington, I was super close with Danielle Laurie.
Sure.
She took me under her wing, and I kind of just wanted to be like Danielle. And so I think just watching her be able to do it while being a mom, while being a wife, while um, still playing softball, and be able to do that in Seattle from her house, I think was really inspiring to me. And so I think my freshman year of college, I decided like, okay, I want to do that. And so I switched my major over to communications, and it stuck. And now I've gotten to form a relationship being here with Michelle Smith. That's been really cool. So I have two people in my corner who are willing to help me out, teach me things, show me things. So it's really cool.
All right. You don't need my help then. You're good. Like that's pretty good. Two people to have in your corner.
They are.
That's pretty good. Michelle Smith's a legend at Oklahoma State. For those of you not
Yes.
aware, played there. You got to experience playing in the World Series.
Mhm.
2023, that magical run that you were a part of, that you helped there
Yeah.
with that incredible regional win against McNeese, and then you win the Supers over Louisiana. When you
Yeah.
reflect in that World Series, what comes to your mind making that run to OKC and then playing in that field?
I think I'm just so proud of what my freshman year was and that team. I love that team. I'm still super close with all of them. That was a special year for us. And I think looking back, I'm like, there's things I wish I would have done differently. And learning from those, I think I'm taking into this year, like, this is a team that I think could win a national championship. And so I think just using those experiences to kind of form myself for this season has been cool. So, just I've been there. This team, pretty much everyone on the team except a few transfers and freshmen have been to the World Series. So just using that experience to hopefully help us in the future.
And I would imagine that also played a factor in your decision. Like, hey, Oklahoma State been to the World Series that last handful of years.
Yep.
I could kind of get there. I've been there. I want to get back, right? Because you like you mentioned, you're probably some things you wish you would have done differently had you known. But it's first time experience. You don't know. Now you have that experience. I want to get back, and here's a team here that has been there, done that, and you feel like it's a fit from that standpoint. I would imagine.
Yeah, there's obviously proven success here at OSU, and obviously the only other team that's done that is OU being 5 years in a row at the World Series. So just the continued success is something that I wanted to be a part of and hopefully try to win the last game played. So
When you look at now, you're going to be playing in that stadium multiple times this year. You're going to
yeah.
be playing in the
Yeah.
regular season and then in the Big 12 championship. I know the goal is to end the year there, but you are going to play in that field. What's it like playing in that exact facility there at Devon Park, which is where I believe everybody wants to play? Is probably
Yeah.
the dream of a lot of young ladies, right?
I mean, it's an unreal experience. Just the amount of eyes on you is crazy. I mean, yesterday when we were playing, I heard them say over the speakers, like, get your tickets for the Bedlam game. There's only like 1,800 tickets left, which means I don't know how many seats are in the stadium. I think like 15,000, something like that. That means there's going to be like at least 13,000 people there at that game. So I think just for a midweek is crazy. And then to be able to do that same thing for Big 12s. And then obviously the World Series is just going to prepare us for that. So I think just being in that environment is so cool, and being able to play in front of that many eyes is just good for the game of softball.
You start Big 12 play this weekend against Texas Tech. I had Nija on the podcast before the season, and she brought you up because she's like, hey, we're all Pac-12 girls coming over to the Big 12 there. She was
That's right.
excited. She was excited to see you as well in the Big 12 when she made the decision to go to Texas Tech. What's that like to be seeing some players that you either played with or played against in the Pac-12 days here? All of you here in the Big 12, like you and Nija were in those days.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be cool. Even my class at Washington, Brooklyn Carter, Lana Johnson, and Sydney Stewart, we're all
Yeah.
in the Big 12 together, and I play every single one of them this year. So we've been talking about that. The Big 12 tournament will be a big reunion for the ex-Pac-12 players. It'll be kind of cool. Yeah, I love Nyjah. She's just a great person, great athlete. And so we get to compete against each other this weekend. It's going to be a dogfight, but I'm super excited to kind of relive that past experience of those past 2 years.
Well, you two have a shared bond in this regard that you both, a lot of eyeballs were on both of you as you were
Yeah.
trying to make a decision on where you wanted to play college softball. I wondered if you two have either reached out or will reach out to each other because you've had that similar bond that you both have gone through that process with a lot of people curious where you were to decide. It's a unique bond that you two have.
Yeah, I mean, we got to play for Team USA together too in 2024. Wait, no, yes,
Was that the
2023.
Japan US
2020,
series?
yes.
Okay.
Yep, we went to Japan together, so that was cool. That was the first time I actually like really got to know her. Because when you play against each other, you just kind of pass by whatever. But I actually hadn't talked to her in the like when she was in the portal, when I was in the portal, I didn't really know what to say because it's kind of like a weird thing, like, you know what I mean? But since then, like social media and stuff, we've talked back and forth a little bit. She's obviously great for the game of softball, so it'll be cool to have those games against her in Texas Tech.
I remember I had Elena Vaughter here, and she said actually the worst. There's too many people that try to reach out. Sometimes you're better off just blocking people off as
Yeah,
you're trying to
it
make
can be
decisions.
overwhelming. It's
Right? Was that
overwhelming.
was that the same for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, the second my name was in the portal, I had to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. I was like, this is nuts. And just people are asking where you're going. People are assuming where you're going. Your name's blasted on Twitter. Like you got fans from your previous school like angry at you. It's just a weird situation. So I think yes, the less reaching out and just like wait for my decision, respect my decision, ask questions later, I think is the best way to go about it.
Good advice there.
Yep.
You mentioned you were part of that U.S. team that played in the U.S. Japan series. What was that experience like for you?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I think I had a little bit of a culture shock at first. So I was like, "Whoa, I've never been anywhere like this." And I didn't really know any of the players. There was no one from Washington that had went, so I was with no one I knew. But I got super close with a ton of the girls. Megan Grant, Jordan Woolry, who else? Sid Sanders was my roommate. It was just so fun. It was like 12 days we were there. So we got super close, super fast. We actually won a game against Japan, which was really cool. It's obviously something I want to do in the future and hopefully chase that Olympic dream. So just being able to be a part of USA and wear USA across my chest was an honor.
You've got the media stuff down. I was going to ask you about that, but you already answered it, so that was good. All right, let me ask you this: who's the funniest player on your team right now? Who's the funniest one? Who's the one that if needs to crack a joke, you is the go-to there?
Okay. We have a catcher named Keely Johnson,
Okay.
and he is the funniest person I've ever met. Like she just she comes up with these jokes like on the spot and no one knows like where it comes from, but it's just like hilarious. Like she is just so freaking funny. Everyone loves her. She's a great teammate. She's always there for any of us. She's so funny and she keeps our locker room happy. It's good.
I always say this: there, you need one or two of those, right? And every team,
Do.
the
We do.
intangibles. When we think of that, that's an example of somebody that, hey, things maybe are too tight because sometimes it's a stressful sport as it is, and hard to be successful. You need that player to keep things loose sometimes when it need and the timing of
100%.
it.
100%. Yeah,
That
she's
is,
awesome.
you've got a good also offense and defense behind you. Talk about those players like Carly Godwin. I got to have before the season, unbelievable talent
Yeah.
there. Just and speak of the talent you have around you there, defensively and offensively.
Defensively, I just being able to trust my defense and um allowing myself to not have to try to strike everybody out, just putting the ball in play, and trusting that those defenders are going to make outs. And then obviously on the offensive side of things, we're legit and I can trust that my offense is going to put up runs against any type of pitcher. And as long as I keep us in any game and the rest of the pitching staff, as long as we keep ourselves in every single game and compete, we're going to be just fine. So I think after the first game, against Florida State. We scored like 9 runs, and I had given up a home run to Jasoni Beecham. And I was like, I didn't even have to freak out after that. It was a solo shot, and we were already up like 4 runs. I'm fine. Like, I didn't, it was awesome. And Coach, she's like, well, still try to not give up runs. I was like, I know, I know. But I'm just saying, it's awesome to be able to have that run support behind me. It feels so freeing and no pressure.
Well, and it does. It helps you because from a pitching standpoint, you're not afraid to pitch and like, oh, if I make a mistake, this could be the end of my season or the end of the game. The difference there because you have trust in your offense. So in a way, gives you more confidence and maybe brings out even the best out of you. Is kind of what you meant there, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
But I'm not surprised by Kenny's reaction to that at all.
He was like, he was like, well, still don't give up runs. I'm like, I know, but if I do, I'm okay. He's like, yeah, still try to throw a shutout. I'm like, okay.
I I find him as a hoot. I enjoy talking to him every time. He's one of my favorite people from the outside. I'm sure you've got some funny. He's a pretty funny guy. Does he show his sense of humor there?
He's hilarious.
Yes.
He tries to make me mad, and he'll call me Riley just to make me mad because people call me Riley and Riley Ruby because we're both blonde pitchers, whatever. We're always together. And he'll do it on purpose. And then he'll call Riley his favorite because he knows it gets to me because I want to be his favorite. And he's the best.
Oh,
But he does try to get to me, and he does get to me. But he's like, I'm just trying to make you tougher. But
play
he's
mind
like,
games.
he does. It's exactly what he does. Yesterday after the game, we're like all like we do our like alma mater, we sing the song and we're like all hugging each other and he comes in between Riley and I. I'm like, "Oh, you just want to be by your favorites." He's like, "Well, Riley's my favorite." I'm like, "Dude, dude, chill out." But yeah, he's the
Uh,
best.
that's incredible. That's a great story there. I'll let you go on this. Obviously, you begin Big 12 play. Texas Tech will be a lot of focus there, but you know as well as anybody, it's just one weekend. It's a marathon now with the gauntlet with the Big 12. What is the keys for you and your team here? Because you both know what it takes to get to the finish line, the ultimate goals. What are some keys that you all working on to get to that point here the rest of the year?
I think for the offense, just stringing hits together and scoring when we have those opportunities. Defense, stay clean. Obviously, just make the routine plays that we're supposed to play or supposed to make, and then make some plays that we're not supposed to make. And then obviously for pitching, I think just keep the runs down, keep the ball in the park, all that stuff super important. So I think just the basic stuff and sticking together as a team and knowing that it's going to be a grind, but it's nothing we haven't done before. Obviously, our preseason was a grind, and I think just having that preseason that tough preseason has helped us and will help us for conference play.
That is Ruby Meylan, Oklahoma State pitcher, joining us here on In the Circle D1 Softball. Hey, this was a blast. I really enjoyed getting to know you and talk to you. I'm super stoked that you're going to be want to pursue broadcasting. So definitely we'll be in touch with that. But you got a lot of great softball ahead of you. Thank you so much for doing this. Congrats on the great week that you've had and the great start to the season. Good luck the rest of the way. And thanks for coming on here on In the Circle on D1 Softball.
Thank you so much. Go Pokes.